audience and where our audience is from as well. Oh, great. We have over half of our guests today here joining us from Africa. We've got good representation from North America and Europe, as well as a handful of folks joining us from Asia and South America. So a typical global nest. Welcome on, everyone. Glad to have so many folks with us. Okay, I'm going to now turn us to our next company. We have Alex Kamanga here from FUNDIS, a B2B, B2C marketplace from Kenya, connecting repair professionals and clients. And I'm excited to hear from Alex. Take us away.
So hi, everybody. My name is Alex Kamanga. I am one of the co-founders and the team leader at FUNDIS. Now, if you have lived in any of Africa's urban regions, such as Nairobi, then perhaps you already know that we need the services of repairmen and women from time to time. But the biggest challenge is that a majority of them operate from the larger informal sector that is largely known for poor quality, that is known for low productivity, and in most cases is associated with poor services of qualities. So where and how do you find a repair person when you really need one? The answer is the FUNDIS mobile application. Homes and workplaces can be able to find competent, vetted, and reliable repair pros, and while at it, get up to 3 months warranty on every single job that they get done. Customers using the FUNDIS app get their jobs done in a way that is better, faster, and more affordable. While on the other hand, repair pros on this platform cut the amount of time they spend looking for work, and at the same time, have access to decent, regular income opportunities. FUNDIS is currently focusing on repairs, but the bigger goal is to focus on Kenya's offline segments, such as construction, retail, and home services that are at an estimated worth of $14 billion as of today. As at the close of the year 2019, online handyman platforms like FUNDIS had transacted $3 million US. 1.4% of those jobs were done on the FUNDIS mobile application. We have one key competitor that has a 5 years head start to us, but we have made an entrance into this space by providing a very easy to use, accessible mobile application. And to it, we have made unbeatable quality services affordable to every person. We are a team that is led by Kenyans. We have had the opportunity to work in different segments of the informal sector all across the country. We therefore think with an app, we will make our services available throughout the country and Africa at large. Our vetting, recruitment, and workers training has been cited as one of the best. My co-founder Sylvia and I have started and failed in 2 other startups within this same space. When we started FUNDIS in 2018, we took our first 1 year joining one of Nairobi's and Kenya's best accelerator programs, where we met our third co-founder, Jeffrey, who is one of the lead developers that the continent has. We also met our first investor, Courier Capital, and our current advisor, Michael, who happens to have been one of the senior leaders at IKEA for nearly a decade. This year, 2020, we are focusing on being able to get 1,500 jobs done. In the next 5 years, we hope to have 20,000 users across 5 cities. Our business model retains at least 10% of every job that gets done on the platform. In the last 3 months, we have also been testing another 5 to 10% commission on every part that is sold in the platform. This is because we have realized 50% of the jobs that get done on this platform have an element of a part being needed. As we are speaking today, we have fully completed, closed, and have 576 jobs paid for. That has translated to a little over 40,000 US, and we have retained a 15% gross profit. Today at the Nest, we are inviting you for our new current round that is 300K USD for 30% equity in the company as a post-money safe note. We are putting at a valuation cap of $1 million, and we are happy to discuss a 10 to 15% discount. The funds will go to user acquisition, upgrading our softwares, and operating a three-sided marketplace where we give more value to users, to workers, and to merchants on the platform. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions that you may have for me.
Great, Alex. Thank you for an excellent presentation. Over to our angels. And remember, audience, feed us some questions in the chat. We love getting to those too. Vishal or Jim, thoughts?
Alex, thank you for that presentation. I thought it was crisp and solid. You talked about your tech guy. Tell us a little more about your tech guy.
Correct.
He built the guts of this, right? So tell us a little about him. I'm interested in your team. So talk to me about your team, starting with your tech guy.
Yes, Jeffrey is a very experienced technical and business leader. He has been an advisor, a mentor at Andela, and currently is one of the Google Africa Scholarship Developer Mentors. He has built and been on great teams before, such as ISRO, that is a mobile money and POS system for small-scale retailers. He has also been on the tech team for Bandarini Studios and a few other products that are out there. Myself, I have been...
You must be paying him a lot of money or giving him a lot of equity to come to work for you, right? And I mean this affectionately, right? How does that work?
So the way we are working on this right now is that we are looking at exactly what we think we will be able to build in the next 5 years. First and foremost, we have very few service marketplaces that have been built on the continent right now. So bringing Jeffrey and myself and Sylvia is simply because individually, we have tried to tackle this same problem of the informal sector from very different angles. So by bringing him and my other co-founder is that we are looking eventually at what will the market and what will the gig economy look like in the next 5 years to 10 years.
Alex, I don't mean to cut you off, but is Jeffrey committed to you? Is he a full-time employee or committed to becoming a full-time employee to you?
Yes, he is. We have been together now for a little over 1.5 years. So, I mean,
now that I just want to speed on because we have very little time, right? So now that you have some revenue and you've got technology, what I don't see in your team is someone to sell. So are you going to use some of this money to do some BD or sales? I don't see anyone with any kind of finance background either. Are you going to have someone count the cash? How's that working?
So the current plan that we have right now is that, first of all, we opened our current round about 2 months ago. And what we have been doing is that, first of all, we are working with open capital advisors for the purposes of, first of all, getting our finances right and getting our financial story and projections right. So what we are doing on that is that within this current round that we are doing, we have done a proper plan to have the financial docket well taken care of. And as we are doing this round, that's one of the things that we are concentrating on and where the funds will go to. So that is the plan that is in place currently.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Vishal, for those questions. Jim, do you have any questions for Alex?
Well, yeah, I want to hear more about your competition. I know there's quite a few people trying to do gig work throughout East Africa. You know, what makes you guys different or better than some of the other things out there?
Thank you, Jim. So first of all, this happens to be, for me, the second company that I'm trying to build together with my team in this space. And in 2016, the first company that we tried to build was within the construction space. And the whole angling that we had gone into that space with was we wanted to build a kind of a labor subcontracting platform. So what happens is that between ourselves as founders and the lead team, we have tried to build this same solution from different angles, but to tackle the exact same problem. So what we did with FUNDIS is that we ideally just brought the best of the best in terms of approaches and in terms of solution. But the other hand to it is that we have a really good understanding about why this particular sector has not been working very well for a very long time.
Why hasn't been working so well for such a long time? And what exactly are you fixing? Because I understand the technology angle, and I think that's smart, but there are companies like Lynx and others, they have faced issues trying to execute this model. So how are you going to get around those specific issues?
First of all, we think the biggest challenge that the market has had, obviously, number one is the quality of skills that are in the market. But secondly to it is, how do you go about identifying, the best of the best, or even intentionally putting a system in place that transfers some of the best skills? So that's actually what we have been very focused on. And it's what our background and the prior experiences that we have had are in. And we think we actually are one of the best platforms in terms of worker skills and recruitment and vetting. Our procedure has been cited as one of the best. So we obviously think that we are onto something, in that when we compare to other platforms and we look at the quality of workers and the service delivery that they have in the market, we have a little bit of an edge to anyone else that is in this space. And that also means we have a really good shot at building the first successful service marketplace, not just in Kenya or East Africa, but across the continent.
Hey, Alex, if I could just come back again, would you just speak to us a little bit about your background? Tell us a little bit about your background.
All right. So my background is in legal studies, but the bulk of my experience has been in sales, marketing, and a bit of management. So I was the country sales director for one of the leading POS providers for small scale and small micro resellers. I was also the head of retail for one of the largest companies that was in the space for also providing solutions to small micro sellers that's now known as Stand Africa, but before was operating as Inkisha. Yeah, other than that, I've had a really good experience working with a few mid-sized law firms in the commercial segments, and basically just interacting with the SME sector. So that's personally my background.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I heard you talking a little bit about, before Vishal's last question, about the quality of skills in the market and that being a differentiator for you. And there were a couple related questions from the audience around, how do you assure the standards and how do you evaluate, the skills of your laborers, and then a related question, if people really do like the service and the service provider, how do you ensure that they continue to work through you rather than going directly back to the provider for the second service?
To echo that, I understand that disintermediation or going around you guys or going around a platform is a common issue with some of your competitors.
All right, let me begin with the second question, and that's in relation to leakage in the platform. So first and foremost, we have been able to figure out why, when you procure a repair persons or an informal sector worker by yourselves, why they are likely in most cases to overcharge you or to be pricey. It's simply because they are really never able to tell, when am I going to get the next job? So first and foremost, what we have done is that in return to providing these pros with regular jobs, we have created an aspect where, first of all, the price that you get if you're engaging them by themselves, on this platform, it's actually a little bit lower. And this because they are not trying to capitalize on this one job because they don't know when the next job will show up. But on the other side to it is that on every single job that you get done on this platform, you get up to 3 months warranty on that job. And that means that, should you have an issue, maybe you want the same problem has recurred again, or you want a follow-up to it, you have access to the platform and you can always get that, as opposed to getting, a random person out there and the next time you need them, you don't know where you're going to get them. So those would be the two aspects, first of all, that would prevent leakage from happening. The other side to it is that from the worker's perspective, why would you want to risk losing, a few more other jobs within the month at the expense maybe of this one job that is at hand right now? On the other hand, on the other question of, so how do we go about, work identification and the vetting? So we have actually, I think, one of the best and one of the most robust processes for gig workers onboarding. So ours is a 3-phase plan that happens. So first of all, we believe that our customers out there and our users out there have, in one way or the other, in the past experienced really good informal sector workers or repair persons. So we want them to recommend something that someone that they have come across that they really liked. And secondly, once we have those contacts or those details, or even a really great work out there reaches out to us, the next phase that we move into is, can we be able to get a feel of what you've been able to do before? That means, can you be able to send across works that you have done? Or can we be able to speak to someone you have worked under or worked for? That could be a customer, that could be maybe a construction company. And once we have those, we move to looking at what's the quality of that work. Then again, once we are satisfied with that, we move you to another stage where we actually want to know, what are your community ties? Where do you work from? Where else have you been before? And those kinds of things. So by the time you're coming on the platform, we have a really good resume about what you've accomplished and where your skills level are at. And once you come on the platform, the next 6 months, we'll simply be looking at the feedback that the customers and users are providing about you. And once we are really satisfied about that, you are fully a FUNDIS fixer. It's one of the most robust processes and one that has enabled us to really deliver good quality of work.
Great. Well, thank you, Alex. I'm going to move in a moment to turning this back to the angels. Did you guys have one last questions? And I knew maybe one of your investors, Mark Curia, might be with us. And if he was here, if he wanted to offer any questions as well, certainly invited.
Hey, I don't think I'm going to answer any questions or ask any questions. I'll just leave it at that.
I would love to hear. I mean, Mark, what don't we know? Tell us what we don't know.
I think Alex is handled it so well. I feel like he's a public speaker, maybe a second career in politics. I don't know. It's very, very good. No, I think it's a robust model which has got a really good selection logic. I'll maybe put in a quick word about Sylvia. So Sylvia, the COO, is really, really talented as well, and she's a big part of that selection logic that picks the fixers. I think she has this background in psychology, which has actually been a big winning factor in getting the right fixers and understanding their profile and keeping them happy.
So, thank you for that insight, Mark. Appreciate it. Okay, well, I'm going to bring it back now to Vishal and Jim. Tell us, what is your interest in this ask?
Look, I like where you've got to with the technology build piece. I worry that you're a little earlier than my blood would normally allow me to invest. You raised $50,000 to date. I'm usually a little later seed investor. You just saw the conversation we had with Simon Company just before. So that's about the level that I'm usually in. And it's principally around team. So I worry that by participating at this stage, I'll have quite a bit of heavy lifting to do. There is a but, and the but is Mushiro's dad. So the Curia in Curia Capital is an ex-partner of mine and an old friend. And if Curia says to me, invest, I would change my mind. So that's the but. And as long as Mushiro can say to me in an offline room that he's going to continue to work with you and toil and do the heavy lifting, I'll reconsider. So on those bases, I'll reconsider, but otherwise you're a little early for me.
Thank you, Vishal. Appreciate those comments. Mark?
I was going to jump in and say, yeah, I'm still willing to give my evenings to working in FUNDIS.
Well, but the issue, Mushiro, and for the sake of other potential investors is as well, when Mushiro's evenings, when Mark's evenings dry up, and he finds himself a new girlfriend, and he finds himself a new hobby, then who's going to take this forwards? And I think that for investors, you'll need to answer that question as you get to the next round. That what does your management team look like? Who's doing business development? Who's counting the money? What are you doing in terms of scalability? And what kind of advisors and mentors are you surrounding yourself from a scalability standpoint? So I think that's the heavy lifting that I'm referring to, and that worries me.
Great questions, and still lots of opportunities here. Jim, did you have any thoughts for Alex?
Yeah, so I think there's still a number of unanswered questions from my side, especially around disintermediation and how you're going to keep people on the platform, and how you also differentiate from some of these other competitors. And I also echo some of what Vishal said. It is a bit early. Love to see a more fully formed team. So what I'd like to do is stay in touch, but I don't think I'm ready at this stage to be involved. But certainly, let's be in touch, and maybe once you have a bit more traction and have proven that you can overcome some of those issues that we had discussed with real data, then it's something that perhaps we can look at.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you very much again to Alex and to Mark for piping up for this really excellent presentation. Obviously, you have a lot of traction, and we'll certainly look forward to seeing you back here again when the time is right. We just threw up a poll here to see who else was interested in investing, and we did see a lot of interest at the $10,000 investment level from the crowd too. So maybe there's another ask in there even amongst this crowd to get you guys to that next phase. Thank you, Fundis, for being here today. Thank you to all of our entrepreneurs. Coming back again to Simon Schwal from OCO, we appreciated your presentation. Thank you to Arnaud, who was here earlier, to Vishal for all of your important probing questions, to Jim. And thank you everyone who joined us in the audience today, which is really what makes this a real show and a real a live event. I also want to appreciate Ayano from Untapped, who helped vet these great companies. Jim, thank you for putting this incredible Nest series together and inviting me to host today. So it's just a treat. And appreciate everyone contributing all your comments and questions to the chat feed. If you were an entrepreneur and you didn't get a chance to read all those, definitely go back. This episode will be, a recording of this episode will be available on findthenest.org, and they also put the chat feed on there so you can go back and read through any helpful suggestions you may have missed from the crowd. I look forward to seeing all of you again here in coming weeks, or maybe even at an opportunity collaboration down the road when it's in person is safe again. And until then, everyone take care.
Thank you very much, Dorian.
Thank you so much.